Don't judge a book by its cover. Good advice. But why? Primarily because the single image on the cover of a book is an entirely different art form than the words written within. And although a picture is worth 1,000 words, it may not be the correct 1,000 words to describe the experience that reading may unlock. Romance, adventure, horror, action, swashbuckling, fantasy, etc., etc. Even a simple story, well crafted, can be a thoroughly enjoyable experience, but it takes time to determine that. Give art a chance. That is the wisdom behind the saying. Do not be too quick to judge. Experience the thing, then pass judgment. This advice can be applied to many things: cars, motorcycles, guitars, horses, dogs, even people. But you know one thing that this advice should not be applied to? Goddamn movie trailers. This video I am making now is a direct response to things said to me by trolls online regarding The Odyssey. But this insipid and doltish opinion has been around for a long time. I first began to be annoyed by this in 2014 when Disney made their revolting fan fiction in the universe of Star Wars. People kept saying that I needed to watch Rise of Skywalker, The Mandalorian, Boba Fett, Ahsoka, The Acolyte, etc., to see if they were good. I make no apologies for having never watched any of those and yet having low opinions of every single one of them. I sat through all of The Last Jedi. Disney won't get any more money from me, not ever. A movie trailer is not only the same exact art form, not only is it the same exact thing, it is literally the thing itself. Of course you can judge a movie by its trailer. That is what it is for. If I sample a mouthful of a Malbec before having the waiter fill our glasses with the stuff, you better believe that if it is vile, I will decline. I will go no further. I will not consume the entire bottle of your tainted, vulgar excreta in a desperate attempt to avoid looking uncool. Is that judging a book by its cover? No? Then how do you spew ignorant piffle like your opinion is invalid because you did not sit through 3 hours of a $25 movie? Are you seriously telling me that if you see 60 seconds worth of Jason Statham in a position of vulnerability, then a horrible thing is done to an innocent, followed by 10 seconds of murderous mayhem by Jason Statham, that you cannot discern what sort of movie you will be getting if you buy a ticket? That perhaps, just maybe, that movie is actually a 2-hour exploration of the deep and sensitive complexities of modern relationships? Is that what you're telling me? I am constantly shocked by the sheer volume of people who apply the axiom, "Don't judge a book by its cover," to gatekeep the judgment of a new movie. A movie can and should be judged by its trailer. It is doubly and triply shameful due to the intense marketing, consumerist, and overtly political forces being forced down our throats in current day. Defending the billionaire movie makers and attempting to shame people for having discernment makes me feel like I live in a communist state. People verbally attacking you because you are unimpressed by a boring trailer? What madness is this? Who is paying you to provide free advertising and use shame to try and make people go see obviously poor movies? Why aren't you embarrassed to behave in this way? If you cannot discern whether or not you want to watch a movie from its trailer, I feel very sorry for you. That seems like a pathetic and empty place to be as an adult. Perhaps another issue here is I have seen too many bad movies. Movies that leave me wishing I had not spent the time or money on them. I see a lot of people who never feel this way. They seem to not mind at all if a movie is disappointing or boring or empty. They are just happy to be able to sit and watch. A distraction is all they ever aspired to. I am not being mean or acting superior. I just understand, for a fact, that there are a very large number of people who will simply never admit a movie was bad. Period. The I am just happy to be here vibe is cool. I'm not disparaging anyone, but that is not me. I expect to be entertained, to be thrilled. Movie making is big business. Huge amounts of money are spent on this stuff. $45 for IMAX tickets? Seriously? That is one type of moviegoer from whom you will never get a useful review or opinion, but there is an even more annoying type. This is someone from whom you will never get an honest review or opinion. This is the film aficionado who reads deep, profoundly moving symbolism from every trite and shallow film production that they see, especially ones from Emperor's New Clothes himself, Christopher Nolan. Ooh, what did the spinning top really represent in the Inception movie? Ooh, such a poignantly rendered scene. Ooh, the lack of any color or contrast whatsoever is the beauty. Ooh, is Tenet spelled backwards? They generate headcanon like a fire hose attached to a sewage plant, and it will never end. But again, I do not intend to simply make fun of people or try to make myself feel superior. I am genuinely worried about the zombie apocalypse that seems to have already occurred. The common man seems unperturbed by the loss of what once were common standards and expectations. There are two big problems with this attitude that compel me to speak out like this. One, people don't read anymore. Stop pretending you even comprehend either books or their covers. You watch TV, movies, streaming services, TikTok, Instagram, endlessly on and on and on, with zero discernment or wisdom. That is a society in decline. Step back. Ask what you want to see. Maybe make something yourself. You have the tools in your hands. And two, the movie-making industry, perhaps the most corporate, commercialized, bloated, and avaricious of all businesses that have ever existed, are ecstatic when puerile, slack-jawed yokels text each other vapid cognitive loops like, "You cannot judge a movie until you've seen it." As one dejected and dissatisfied moviegoer once opined, the box office opening numbers for The Odyssey include my ticket too. Do I get a refund? Do I get a thumbs down? No, my money just got pocketed, and the numbers reflect a bountiful success, don't they? Even though I deeply regret watching that trash. So, you supporting a massive and massively greedy corporate mega entity by telling people like me that I must sit through all 3 hours of this travesty is the best free favor you can do for those rapacious bastards. This makes me loathe you like the useful idiot that you are. Our customer power, buying power, is only as good as the weakest link. Why are cars, phones, computers, football game tickets, and hamburgers ridiculously expensive? Because there are far more sheep willing to pay far too much, and only a tiny handful of people willing to say, "No thanks, I'm good." I do not need to rush out and see a movie because I have been told to. I will stay home and read the book.